What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning in. It's me, Mikey Pipes. It's Friday. I love me Fridays. Going to our first service call of the day in South Ozone Park, Queens. We have a new residential client that has a Weil McLain heating system that was installed 3 months ago, not by Pipe Doctor. And the service call complaint is that the burners, quote, are not turning off when the water is low. Now, what that tells me is that, based on that explanation, that they have a steam heating system and the low water cutoff is not turning off ignition in a low water condition. That's what it sounds like to me. So right now we're driving out to South Ozone Park. We just left the shop in Woodmere. Way says it's going to take us 17 hours. I'm joking. About an hour, because it's 7:30 in New York, and that's the way we roll here. Tons of traffic to get anywhere. Hi, good morning. Is this Reynolds?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Mike from Pipe Doctor. How you doing, sir?
Good. If you want, you can park in the driveway.
I was just about to ask you, since
Yeah,
your block is very congested.
Yeah, it is.
All right, thank you. We're here, so just give me a minute to get out.
I got you, brother.
Thank you. We're gonna park right here. I'm gonna grab that mat. So, every time I meet a client for the first time, I get my business card ready. Okay. And then, since people love stickers, I get them a sticker ready, right? And I also get a magnet ready. Now, I hope and trust that James and Daniel do the same thing. Yep. So I got my card, a magnet, and a sticker. And you're gonna see how I make him smile. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm a big fan.
You're a big fan?
Big fan.
Awesome. Here's my card. Here's a magnet. Here's a sticker.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone loves stickers. Feel free to put that magnet on the back of your car.
Thank you, brother.
Represent Mikey Pipes.
I appreciate that.
Can I ask, what's up with all the flags? I know it has to do with something to do with religion.
Yeah, this is my neighbor's.
Oh.
They practice Hinduism.
Oh, that's what it is. I see a
Yeah.
bunch of them here in the neighborhood.
Yes. Most people around here, they practice Hinduism.
Okay. So what do the flags represent? I guess just
You know what?
Hinduism.
I have no idea.
Okay, but maybe you do. All right, cool.
You want to go in?
Yeah, let's go. Watch the car. Nice day today.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So now I'm dispatched here because you have a Weil McLain boiler that's about a couple months old,
Yes.
and before I even see it,
Yeah.
you're adding when the water gets low enough, it doesn't turn off. Do you have a steam heating system? Okay, good. That's what I thought. All right, so you have an EG boiler, EG-PG, maybe a 45.
GPG 35, I think.
Okay, I was gonna guess 45, but okay.
125 RBTs.
And the installers went up with a new pipe coming up straight on the top of the boiler, connecting to your existing manifold that was up here. All right, this was existing with
Pretty
the
much
asbestos on it as well.
Correct.
And I guess they made it work, but
Yeah.
but it is wrong. You know why it's wrong? Just be careful touching it, because you do have, like, that is asbestos there, and that is, but just, you know, whatever. It's surprising.
Yeah.
Oh, as you're gonna say, sorry.
I think this was supposed to come down or something. The header.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. So the biggest deficiency here
Yeah.
is this piping configuration here and the size of this.
Too skinny.
That is called, yes, that is called your equalizer.
Mhm.
And it shall not be more than one pipe size smaller than the pipe it's connected to. So this is 3-inch. This is 2-inch.
Yes.
Right, this is fine. It's nice height, good. I like that. Comes up here, nice 3-inch. It leaves here in one pipe. This is all good. But the deficiency is this mess here. They went from 3-inch to 1.25 inch.
Right.
And that will alter the boiler and the system's ability to have the same pressure leaving and the same pressure coming back. That's why it's called an equalizer, because you want that steam system to have the same pressure on both sides.
Right.
Even though they're only a couple feet apart, you still want that to be the case.
Right.
Okay, so the issue at hand is that, what is going on here? Hold on. That's a check valve for the feeder. Oh, 2 check valves. Didn't even, whatever. Okay. So your issue, why did they plug that? Because there was an air vent there?
Used to be one, but I took it off because.
You saw one of my videos?
No, because it used to leak, so I took it off.
Oh, it used to leak?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. How long was that valve there for, though?
There was never a valve there. I had somebody come over and they told me to put one there, so I put it there, and then it started to leak, so I took it off.
Who sold the water heater?
This was done one of my friends, like
Okay.
8 years ago.
You know this is wrong. Because it's slightly back pitched.
Yes, it's a yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's like yeah.
And that's the reason why the, it looks like it was melting a little bit, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're losing, so when the water level gets low, it does not turn the boiler off.
Correct.
And that's been going on from day one.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Full disclosure.
Yes, full disclosure.
Me and 2 of my friends, we did this by ourselves.
The install?
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes, you're a good man to admit that. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. So,
But overall, you did a great job.
oh, appreciate that.
Yeah. Overall, not too shabby.
But I know my limits. You
Yeah.
know, the wiring, the
Yeah.
schematics. I'm not very good at schematics.
Okay.
So I'm like, let me call the man, Mike the plumber, Mikey Pipes.
All right, we're going to turn the power off.
Okay.
I heard a click there, so that means it's getting power.
Okay.
We'll turn it back on. That light flashed for a minute. Now, did you try, by the way, before I get started, the office gave you our rates, trip charge and the hourly rate, or
Yes.
what did they tell you? Okay. You have, I think, a 125 trip charge and it's $275 an hour? Okay. Very good. So we're going to take some water out. Okay, so the light did turn on,
Right.
but the boiler's not turning off?
It's not turning on.
Interesting.
The
All right.
burner is not turning on.
So hold on a second. There's the automatic feeder.
Yeah, it is gonna feed.
It's going to feed.
It's gonna feed you.
Interesting.
It's a 2-minute delay.
So let's close that.
Yeah.
Turn the thermostat up.
I got you.
What is it set to and what is it reading before you raise it up and then raise it up?
I'm gonna set it to like 74. Is that okay?
Okay, as long as it's reading below 74, perfect.
Gotcha.
All right, so that light is on, which means it senses that low water condition, right? But according to the homeowner, the burner is still run. So right now, if he fires that thermostat and raises up the temperature, the thermostat relay which is, this doesn't have that. It's a Weil McLain. I love these Weil McLains. So there's that call.
2-minute delay, he said.
There's that call for heat. Damper opens. And this should not fire up. But it is. Wow. We have a low water condition and the boiler fired up. Crazy, huh? But fortunately, he sensed that was a problem, and that's why we're here. All right. So, in the side door of the truck, here are the keys. Make sure you lock the truck. And the side door of the truck is my tool bag. You're going to grab that tool bag. And make sure you close the door and make sure you lock the truck back up. All right, so first thing is that this wire, this yellow wire, which was not connected, that's going on A. Make sure these are all tight. Oh, no, that was loose too. And the black, also loose. Now this green wire is not being used. So this set of wire, this 4-conductor insulated wire, we have the black wire on 2. The red wire is on 1 with the jumper right there. And this is going to our automatic feeder, VXT24, and this is the hydro level CG400 or 400, Cycle Guard 400. Now, here's that wiring harness. So let's do a test. Let's fire this bad boy back up. The damper is going to go through a cycle. There's that. If I pull this, the low water cutoff, even doesn't have any power, it's still not interrupting burner circuit. I'm exposing all the wiring because you never know. You never know if something got kinked, something was rubbing against something else and you have a short there. But also it allows me to easily chase the wiring and make sure they're all intact. So let's turn this back on. That's going to do its thing for a second. We have that tick, tick, tick. Let's check the safety circuit here. So the spill switch in back of the boiler, that works. And you notice when I removed that safety, the damper is opening and closing, doing its circuit. So now it's closed. That call for heat is still active, so it's going to open. And it's going to try to fire up again. Because we interrupted that voltage to here, it does that every time. That's going to go tick, tick, tick again. Now that I removed all the wiring from there, let's pull the low water cutoff again. Still the same thing, still getting power to that intermittent pilot ignition module. We'll put that back in. And now let's look inside the hood and see how everything's wired. This you'll never see ever again. So here is what we would call in the people like me a transformer, but it's also a fan center relay, right? It has this plug, this connection here point where a relay like that would go. Okay, a relay would take a signal from one side and turn on another, right? But in your manual, it says that it's not being used, right? Okay, I get it. The manual's not being used. It's fine. See, relay receptacle, not used. Right there, dead of the screen. So this was your one that you had. Now, on the other part of this would be the relay side, so which make the like the fan center relay module. This block right here is called your transformer. The transformer takes 110 volts in your case and gives you 24 volt secondary power. So it's called primary secondary transformer. So on this other side of the transformer, you only really have 2 connection points. You have R, which is power. C is common, like a neutral, right? Like a plug, like a receptacle, 110 volts, and neutral, common, the ground, right? I'm trying to add water. Good. So the other terminals on here are strictly like posts or wiring blocks, right? So you have these other wires, the red, the black, the yellow, the blue, which then go behind here to the connection point for a relay, but it was not being used. But the problem here is as long as there was a call for heat, even if the low water cutoff was disconnected, it still got power because the G terminal, for some reason, was getting power. And I couldn't believe it because I've never seen a terminal board fail like this ever. I have been doing this for a while now, right? But never seen that. So what we did was I took a new one from the truck, put it on here. It's trying to feed water. Let's just give it water. Actually, let's stop that for a second. That light is still on?
No, it's off.
It's off. All right. Let's take some water out of the boiler. Okay. That yellow light is on. Here's our 2 thermostats. The wires. Here and here. And before, when we had this, the damper would open. Let's stay in there. Yeah, let's get a new one here, actually. I don't want to mess with this thing. So this is TT, or R and W going to your thermostat. Just 2 wires. It's just like a switch connection. There's no real power there, but there's that. Now, if we give it water, that damper should open. That light will go off. And as long as I wired this right, we should be good. Or we have another problem. Hopefully we don't have another problem. Damper opens. We hear that electronic sound from the electronic ignition module. We'll have it did not like that. It's something. Oh, my ground wire. I gotta reconnect my ground wire. All right, let's deal with that. My ground wire's right there for right now. All right, change the water out of the boiler. You know that yellow light comes on. Okay. Now we wait. There's usually a delay. There you go. Worked like a charm. Beautiful. So the part, this White Rogers S84A-85, crazy. And another thing with the previous transformer is that how like the terminals, the wires, didn't really, and the connectors didn't really like sit snug on them, which was surprising. Oh, it's trying to feed again. Oh, I'm gonna turn the power off. All right, so that's our thermostat. Let's put all this back in there. With all of this behind there. Let me get my light back. And you know, let's go this way with it. Now, ground. There's that ground. And that's gonna go right there. Okay. Now, there's a lot of weight on these wires. R and C, that's on there, that's on there, and these two where's that thermostat that I was playing with before? Here. So this is thermostat. So let's take off that and put one thermostat wire in there and another one. Where does it go here? Okay, that's that. Power on. Yellow light is on because it's still doing a boot up, and it's low water too though. But let's just open this back up. All right. So there's the click of the thermostat relay, which it didn't have them before, but it doesn't matter because it's not wired to anything. The damper is opening. You heard that electronic hum. There's our pilot. There's ignition. Take some water out of the boiler so that yellow light comes on. All right, and shortly thereafter, the boiler will turn off because the yellow light is on, like it did just now. And then we'll watch the automatic feeder get a signal shortly thereafter to feed. That damper closes, by the way, because the safety circuit is interrupted. Keeps the energy, that heat that could be in the boiler, not going up the chimney and out the back of the damper. I mean, the draft hood. Wow. Impressive. Weil McLain, CP8278243. Someone didn't do quality control. No bueno. All right, the automatic water feeder is giving it water now. The light turned off. The water level slowly going up. Let's make sure that turns off. There's the click of the thermostat relay, which doesn't really matter now, but the damper is going to open. That's going to hum with that electronic little high-pitched squeal, which is normal. And then it's going to send power to the gas valve. There you go. So now we have ignition. If we remove one of the wires off the pressure control, it kills power to the burner circuit. The damper will go a cycle. So we know that's good. You can put the cover back on there. And once that's good and the damper reopens, that'll click back on. So all that's left is to put the thermostat at a lower temperature, make sure the boiler turns off, and then we'll do a combustion test here. Make sure it's burning safely. All right, combustion analysis time. Wait and see. All right, we're almost at 400 degrees of stack temperature. Our O2 is high at 10.9%. It really should not be that high, but it's better than being too low, I guess. Carbon monoxide at 30, gross efficiency 79. And our probe is exactly where it needs to be. Let's see if that number decreases or increases. So now it's going up, that O2 number. 12. Yeah. And that's exactly where it needs to be, but all right. Gio, make yourself a mental list or a list. When we go back to the shop, we need printer paper. All right. Don't forget. All right, now we are testing draft. We are at negative pressure, which is good. Let's take a picture of that as well. And we'll attach a copy of that to the receipt. 4, 10, 26. Fan, sensor, relay, and general check. Okay. All right, before we leave, we had the homeowner turn the thermostat on and off, not once, but twice. Now the thermostat is off and the boiler kicked off. The vent damper is closing. Make sure our relief valve is correct. This is 15 psi, perfect. Everything else appears to be okay. The only exception and fault that I see here is this exhaust piping on the water heater. It is slightly back pitched, which means that this point is higher than that point, and this point needs to be lower than that point. Other than that, not too shabby. And we already spoke about the equalizer the second we got here, but other than that, good to go.